Yes. Good afternoon or good morning to the public and members of the committee. I would just like to start this committee with a moment's silence for His Majesty the Prince Philip. If we could just have a minute's silence, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for that. We'll continue into the meeting now. 966/20. Are there any declarations of any disposable pecuniary interest? No?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Followed by 967/20. Apologies for absence. Chris, do we have any absences?
No, we're all present and correct. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Following on to 968/20. We need to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 14th of January 2020 and received by the council on the 26th of January 2021 as a true record. Is there a... Oh, right, we're going to go through it. So page 1, 2. Yeah, that's fine.
Pass the minutes, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Thank you, Jen. Cheers. Right, moving on. Officers report 969/20. We're here from our great officers. Thank you.
Good morning. So Suffolk Pest Control have been busy. They've reported positive results in reducing and controlling the vermin activity on the Mumford Road, Bury Road, and the London Road sites. The allotment inspection and allocation has resumed since from 12th of April, and I've contacted a number of people since Monday. I've allocated, I think, if they go through with it, 4 plots already. Vacant plots have been cleared and divided into halves to help meet demand. Site maintenance has been carried out various sites, including upgrading of number of standpipes of individual isolation valves, which makes it easier for maintenance. And if there is an issue with leakage, a tenant can easily isolate it. Not all of them have been done, but it's ongoing and certainly should be done by the end of this year. Anglia Water carried out their 5-year inspection and everything has passed regarding standpipe regulations. Mumford Road beekeeping area, because of the pausing of the inspections and allocations, it's allowed a bit of free time to sort of do a bit more maintenance. So I've took down all the old, well, most of the old fencing on the beekeeping area and widened the access path. So it just looks a lot better, and it's just improved the area visually. ID Verdi have made a promising start to the grass cutting season, vast improvement to last year's season.
Right.
So I hope we can, they keep that up. I think it all depends on if the same team turns up each time. There have been a number of reports of the killing of livestock on the Mumford Road site. It's believed to be caused by foxes. I've spoken to people who have expressed concern and I've advised them to sort of really upgrade their livestock enclosures to make them fox-proof. And there's an example of a proposed signage for the main gates concerning beekeeping awareness. I don't know if we've got a slide for that.
Mhm.
So I've deliberately kept it low key. I didn't want the words of beware or caution and all that type of thing. I just want something on the gate to say that we do practice beekeeping, but you know, this is just an idea, so this can be improved or added to. It's just an example, and that's it for that.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, on the beekeeping sign, I'm going to get in here. I think it's very nice. It draws your attention to it by the being so nice and bright.
Yeah.
And gives you the information that's needed. Thank you. What? Any other comments? Oh, Jen. Oh, Jen.
Yeah, I was to say, well done, Carl. You've done quite a bit of work up there. I like this sign as well. As you say, sometimes least is more, and that just explains. And being the brightness, it's nice. So well done. Thank you very much.
So what I'll do is I'll go ahead with that and get these made up and get them put on their main gates.
Yeah. Chris has got his hand up
Yep,
then.
Chris, you got your hand up. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry to be pedantic, but if you're going to put this sign up as a warning, because some people have really bad effects of bee stings, are we going to put one on the beekeeping areas as well, please?
Yeah, what I've done is, yeah, I could probably word the one just outside of the actual apiary area a little bit different, but I thought on the main gates, I thought I didn't want to sort of give the impression that you know that they could cause you harm, but just bring awareness.
Yeah, this is right, but they can cause harm, can't they? Let's be
They
fair.
can, if yeah. What we're doing now is anybody who's applied for a plot, I do warn that that we do practice beekeeping on that site.
Okay, no, I'm happy as long as we put one near the actual hives themselves. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you, Chris. All right. Any other comments on that?
No, thank you.
Okay, moving on. 9/70/20 preliminary financial report. So I guess that's what, Alan, yes?
It is, Chair.
Yeah.
You have many disadvantages of having me as a committee officer, but one of the advantages is that you get secret preview to financial information. This is just preliminary. It isn't finalized. We've done a lot of work on the allotments during the year, so these figures are fairly accurate. But what I thought I would do is just give you a quick kind of overview of our particular situation. In terms of revenue, we budgeted £8,698. We received £8,516. There's obviously a big variance against last year, but that was because there was a lot of adjustments to the deposits held and the actual site deposits. There wasn't a system in place to record those as they were refunded and recorded, and that gave us a boost last year when we did that reconciliation. In respect of expenditure, we budgeted expenditure of £7,106, and we actually spent £7,264. So we've got an adverse variance of £158. So all in all, there's £340 kind of worse off against budget. That would mean that there would be no need for this committee to consider reserving any unspent monies, because there isn't any unspent monies. And that really is the purpose. Some of the other committees are doing this exercise in May, but this committee will not, you know, there'll be no purpose to do that because there's no projects that we would need to reserve. And that's it.
Okay. Any Jenny, your hands up.
Yeah, thank you. I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Oh God, I think you've explained what I was going to ask anyway about the if we had any excess money anyway. So yeah, no.
Unfortunately, there isn't.
Yeah, brain block. After the last meeting. No, I think Alan explained what I was going to ask anyway.
Okay. And then we have Brenda.
Yeah, I think at the next meeting we need to start looking at our fees, because we can't continue like this year on year. We've got to, you know, try and at least equal our budgets. So
Yeah.
I think we need to start looking at fees, or you know, when they leave. I think at the next meeting, if we can work on something on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I come back, please?
Yeah, I was going to say, Jen, you're back again. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, it was the deposits and that. Am I right in thinking that now they are actually any that's not given returned for bad allotments and that obviously now is actually going back into our maintenance budget, is it? Because I don't think it was before. I think it was going back to sort of general funds as such. Is it now any deposits that are unreturned after the maintenance has been taken out for the reasons of it not being returned, actually going back into our maintenance budget? That's what I want to ask. Do you understand what I'm saying? Have I explained it okay?
I can answer, Chair, if you'd like me to.
Please do, Alan.
At the moment, we haven't really been doing that type of exercise, but going forward, what we would have to do is put the deposits into income. So we'll open up a new line item, deposits forfeited, and put that to income. And if that would fund any additional maintenance costs that we would have. So what we've done is we've broken down, it doesn't show on this particular schedule, but when we approved the budget, we actually broke down the maintenance line item into about 7 or 8 sub-items. So when we report in the new financial year, we'll actually report against that. So if we, for example, if there's a lot of deposit forfeiture, we'll end up with more income, but we will probably have more expenditure. So the two should actually go in parallel. And that's how I think it will actually work. So, you know, if Carl, you know, just for example, we forfeit 4 deposits because we have to spend more money, that extra maintenance cost will be funded from the money that we forfeited, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. Yeah, you've explained it very well. That's what I was wondering. Thank you very much.
Alan. Yeah, it was a good clarification. Thank you very much for that. Okay, any other questions on our budget? No? Okay, so shall we move on to 971/20, which here we go, health and safety. Right. Who's leading on that, Carl?
I have no issues on health and safety. I haven't found anything of concern.
And Chris, have you found anything? Because you haven't been doing them, have you?
I've not been allowed to go and look, but I will start
Absolutely.
next week. I'm still a bit concerned with this decision required none business what's come up. I do not like this at all, as I explained at cemetery. Decision required should be as required or as needed. I'm not happy with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Chris, I'm with you on that. I will be taking up the matter in the near future and see why this has suddenly happened. Somebody can explain it to us, I'm sure. But yeah, I've always been of the opinion that the committees should be the one who sets whether there's a decision required or not on things. But we both expressed our views on it, and let's see if we can both move it forward in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. All right. That's good. Item 972/20, waiting list and allotments. And on this, just a quick comment. It's really nice to hear that we have started on the 12th of April, started re-allotting again, but also it's a little bit disconcerting that we have so many on the list that we have to start splitting the plots in half, but it does help this situation, I'm sure. Okay, Carl, if I haven't stolen all your thunder, would you like to go ahead with that?
Yeah, so the waiting list was never paused. You know, people could still put their names down. I think with the halving of the plots, it makes sense in respect of it meets demand. Plus, I think it's more manageable. People tend to sort of, it's a new venture for a lot of people, and it just seems to work well if they have less to worry about. Some of the older tenants, existing older tenants, have also considered, halving their plots.
Right.
So it does seem to be the way to go at the moment. We have 29 plots in total, but that doesn't mean 29 in the way of full plots. That could be made up of half plots. 20 are ready to be allocated. So as and when people turn up to view them and they decide to take them on, there's 20 available. And 4 people have been offered plots this week. So they will receive the relevant paperwork. And if they decide that they want to go ahead, they'll submit it and make their payment, and away they go. 10 people will have been approached by email, phone call, text message this week, and it's just waiting upon them to get back to me. Or some of them are, the answer is there straight away. As soon as you sent the email, they're sending you one back saying they're more than eager to take one on. Others are differ a bit, and others have changed their mind completely. So it's just going through the list. But 10 people have been approached since Monday.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Brendan, then Jen.
Yeah, just to say well done, Carl. I think the idea of offering the half plots first makes a lot of sense, because they are big plots. And if you're going in it as a fresh person, you just don't realise how big it is, and it takes a lot of digging over. They can always come back later, and if the one beside them, the one at the other end of them is empty, they can always apply to take it on if you see that they've done a good job on the first plot. So I've got no problems with that whatsoever.
Thank you, Brenda. Jen?
Thank you. Well, again, that's well done. And I don't think, to be honest, I mean, when we say a current waiting list of 72, it sounds quite a number, but I'm looking at the current occupancy, and I mean 91%, which is, it says, 225 occupied out of 247 plots. That is not bad at all. I think that's maybe the best figures I've seen for a long time, to be honest. The 72, the waiting list. When people are offered a plot and they come and visit, if they're hesitant, then I would get concerned if they're going to take that plot. I think we should do it on a case of, we've got plot A on Mumford Road, if that's where they've asked for that site, that you're being offered this plot. Would you like it or not? If they say no, then move them down to the bottom of the list and then offer the next person. I think that's the only way we can keep it going. But I think 225 out of 247 plots is brilliant. So I think it must be the highest we've had. So well done, Carl. But I think you should look at the allocations on the fact that if you're going to dither, you're not that real interested. If you're going to bite my hand off when I'm offering you a piece of ground, then yeah, you're keen. So I think maybe that's the way you could look in the future at the allocations, is if you refuse the first plot, then we explain to them that if you don't want that plot and it's on the site you've asked for, then you will go back down on the list, and so I think, to me, that would be a quicker response for Carl than him having to wait 2-3 weeks to get an answer. In that 2 and 3 weeks, that plot's growing again. So that would be that's just a suggestion from me, that I think it's this is the plot, you accept it or not. If you don't accept this one, then you go to the bottom of the list and restart again.
All right, Carl, do you have any comments on those?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does to me. As Jenny said, and Brenda, thank you very much for your hard work during these trying times. Occupancy of 91% means is great as long as they're being utilized as they should, because that would mean that the amount of weeds and stuff we got growing is going to be less with a higher occupancy. So I think it's a really good report. Thank you. Are we finished?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So moving on.
Just one point on the slide. It's 13 plots have been allocated between 2020 and February 2021, not February 2020.
Yeah.
So I do apologize.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure Chris will be able to correct that for us. Item 973/20, lease or purchase of additional land. Yes. So can we have a report on that? Is that Alan or Carl?
It's me, Chair.
Okay,
Chair, I think,
thank you, Alan.
I had a meeting with the town clerk a little while ago, and we were talking about well, one of the things that gave rise to this particular issue is we obviously had the request, which we're discussing below the line. But I think it's really, we as a committee, we need to make an in-principle decision. Do we need to look at acquiring more land for allotments? Because if we do, we need to set that out, understand what is the cost of developing an allotment site, what is the financial pressures on us, and how do we go forward? If we don't believe now at the moment it's not worthwhile pursuing or extending the kind of amount of land that we've got into allotments, then it makes it a lot easier. But if there is a need, if this committee believes that there is a need, we have to do a little bit more work to ensure that we understand what the implication of that will be. So this provides the framework in which we can make individual decisions regarding any offers, or if someone sees land and believes that it should be part of used for allotments, we can actually do that. So this is like developing a little bit of a principle framework so that decisions can be made. And if we, like I said, if we do decide to go forward, or in principle without binding, then there's a need to do a little bit more work as to what is the cost, what is the benefit to the council of doing that. So that's really why this particular item was put there.
All right.
So
I have two councillors with their hands up. I don't know which one's first.
I dived in first, but I don't mind.
Okay, well, you go for your comments then, Jen, please.
Right. No, I don't think we should purchase any more land for allotments. We've got a waiting list of however many, but I think that could be a cured list. I think that we can't afford, if you like, to take on any more. If we can get a plan going for the allotments we've got, on being self-sufficient, etc., I think then that's the time to have a look. But at the moment, the way things are, no, I certainly wouldn't agree to purchasing more land, regardless of some 106 money in that. We've got to take care of what we've got first and then look at it. But no, I don't agree with them.
Okay, thank you. Jen, Brenda?
In principle.
Brenda? No?
Maybe I still learn to do.
Sorry?
I was talking to myself, my mic was off. Yeah, I don't think it's the right time. I think Carl has got enough with what he's got, we can't say that Carl's got 4 workers under him or anything. And at this present time, I wouldn't go for it. We've got we'll always accumulate a natural turnover. People pass, or people move away, or they're unable to maintain their allotments. So there's always a turnover. So I don't think we've never been where every single plot is being used. We've never, well, not since I've been there anyway. There's always been vacant plots. So I think at this time, I would say no. Perhaps a few years down the road, we might review it, but at the moment, no.
Thank you, Brenda. Are there any other comments? If not, I shall have my comment now on it. Yeah, I can understand where the comments are coming from the councillors and everything and all, but we do have areas of Thetford that do not have much in the way of allotment land in the area, and some of the, specifically the town centre areas, I have trouble getting to the outer lying allotments to a point, but that's one thing. And the other thing is there is a fund set aside for increasing the allotments in Thetford at the moment, which has been sitting around for an awful long time with the council, and we actively hunted for different places for finding land in the past and couldn't find it. So it depends on if we have an opportunity to spend that money or not. But I think unless the officers have got some comments, I think we discussed that quite well.
Can I come, Mr. Chairman, please?
Yes, please do, Jen.
Right, my thoughts on this is my thought in this is if we can make allotment sites more self-sufficient, then by all means. But at the moment, it means that Carla is working from Mumford Road, London Road, Berry Road, Stickney Way, and the other site that we never have any problems with. He's going there. He's a one-man soldier. And
Absolutely.
I turn around and you start getting other little bits of land that maybe aren't self-sufficient to start with, then it is unfair on the workforce. And
Okay.
I think then if you're going to open other allotments, smaller allotments around the town or wherever, then maybe that's where we introduce the self-sufficiency as when they open.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Chris made a comment.
Chair,
Yes, sorry, yes.
You've seen it. Now you've
Yeah, I was just
seen
going to say,
Chris Harvey's comment.
Chris
Sorry.
Harvey made a comment about a very good worry about the amount of staff we have to cover this, and extending it would put more pressure on our staff, basically. Is that right, Chris? Well,
Yes, I'm down the same lines as Jenny and Brenda. I don't think we have sufficient staff at the minute to cope the poor bloke will lose what hair he's got left.
okay, well, thank you very much. Yes, Chris. Okay. I seem to be in a minority on this right now, but so there's no decision needed on this, Alan, is there? Was it discussion, or do we say that we're not going to take on land now?
There's an in principle decision. Do we pursue this and do some of the work to do the feasibility studies, or do we take an in principle decision and say we do not have the capacity, we don't need to take it any further? I think those are that is the decision. It's a yes or no to a principal decision.
Yeah, so whether we do some more. So the reasoning behind it is we would have to do a lot more in-depth work before we decide to take on land. What is the feeling of the council, of the committee then? Whether we just say no at the moment, or
Can we
start the officers to go more.
Would you like to get somebody make a proposal and seconder that you do not have the capacity to take this any further?
Yeah, well, right now, yeah, I'll find as soon as I get the. I think Jen just wanted to speak.
Yes, so I think that for me personally, I would like to see it deferred. I mean, I know it's putting on the shoulders of the officers and Carl and that, but at the moment, I would like to see it deferred until we can maybe get some sites self-efficient and then reconsider it, because then that way Carl won't lose what bit there he's got left.
Okay.
You know what I
Brenda?
mean?
Oh, sorry, Jen.
No, go on. That's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brenda, you coming back? You might.
Pardon?
You
I was just
want
saying,
to
I'd
come
like to
back,
see-
Brenda?
Yeah, an agenda item in 3 years' time, because it's going to take it's going to take time to get the allotments where we want them to be. You know, it's like being a landlord, isn't it? You buy one house and all of a sudden you go and get another one, and then you find that you're not finishing the first one first, you know, and actually we have still got a lot of work to do on allotments. So I would say defer it, make it a discussion item in 3 years' time, you know, because it takes that long to get things moving, you know.
I'm not sure if we have the power to enforce a committee in 3 years' time to come back to this as such. So I think we're going to need to either defer it now or allow the officers to go ahead and look more in depth into it. So I think we do have to make a decision.
Yeah, 'cause
Can
I would say no then.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank you,
Chairman,
Brenda.
can I just come back with a suggestion, please?
Okay,
My suggestion would be we defer it to the next meeting, but maybe we could have a small off-the-record meeting beforehand, like a workshop, to discuss the way forward with this, and also making how we can accommodate this by making certain sites self-sufficient, and how that would help the situation.
are you suggesting we come back with a workshop and then an officer's report on it?
If we can have a meeting before the next fall allotments meeting, and as a workshop, and then discuss the way forward on it. As you say, I quite agree. I don't think we can turn around and say defer it for 3 years, because a lot of things happen in 3 years. So I'd like to see that done before any next allotment meeting would be. I don't know how the officers feel about that, or yourself, Mr. Chairman, but that is what my suggestion would be. Chris Harvey's got his hand
Chris has
up.
his hands up. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Chris?
I must admit, I'm of the opinion that we should defer it, but not give up on the idea of going through all the figures, the feasibility studies, etc. But I think one thing we must do is involve the other allotment associations.
Totally.
To bring them into it as well, because they, as I said the other day, we're well-meaning amateurs. These are professionals, and they could have a great help in doing this. But I mean, we have to have more allotments. The King's Fleet one will be up and running, I suppose, within a certain time. You know, so yeah, I'm of the opinion postpone it, but don't give up.
No,
Okay, thank you, Chris. Carl, you have your hands up.
Yeah, I mean, if there was another allotment site, would it be statutory allotments, or would it be something we could have the land and perhaps use for cemetery land later on?
good idea, Carl, because we are looking, aren't we, Dan, committing for cemetery, because I think our cemeteries have only got about 30 years left of burial, aren't they? If
More nitrate problems.
Depending on where the land was and everything, that would be a consideration. If we took it on as a statutory allotment, if we're allowed to, I think we are, that would be a solution at the time. But I think where we're coming from now, it seems to be, Carl's up again. Yes, Carl?
Oh, no, I haven't put my hand down, I think.
All right, okay. Well, I think Brenda's up, but let me just finish and then I'll let Brenda come back in.
Well, I have to go, Mr. Chairman. I've got
Oh,
to get,
sorry, Brenda.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your attendance, Brenda.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So are we moving towards allowing the officers to look into this in more detail? Have a workshop about with just about this one thing, and then move forward from there.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
would make sense.
yeah, that would, yeah. I mean, if
Okay.
some information to bring to a workshop, I mean, I know
Mhm.
again, putting it on the officers and
And-
Carl's shoulders, but also Carl's convenient that he can be there because we seriously need Carl's input as well.
And Alan, I know you have a lot of time right now to spare for these things and everything. Would you be able to, well, back Carl up in this and everything and help him?
I will, Chair.
Yeah, because it's we need the input. Okay, so Chris, do we need to make any
No, I don't think so at the moment. Perhaps
No,
Alan would
just-
agree, but we just agreed to defer to
Yeah,
a following
agree.
meeting when it will be discussed with a bit more detail.
Yeah.
Are the committee members agreed that we defer this until further information is collected?
You're going to have a
Yes.
workshop.
Yes, have a workshop,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Whether
Can I
that
just say as well, now Brenda's gone, we're still a quorum because there's 3 out of 4 left, so you're
Thank
still
you
clear to
very
make any
much.
decisions.
yeah.
Yes, thank you very much then. So can we move on then?
Well, George, propose and approve that. And
Oh, do we
second
need
that.
a proposal? Okay.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to propose that we,
I'm quite happy to propose that.
okay, any
I'll
seconders?
second it, yeah. Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you very
second it.
much. That's
Okay.
Jenny proposing and Chris seconding.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Item 974/20, revised allotment rules. Now we've held a nice workshop on this and everything, so I'll just turn it over to either Carl or Alan, whichever one's going to see us through this one.
Sure, I'll do that. At the outset, I just would like to thank the councillors for their attendance. It was a little bit hectic. Monday wasn't my favourite day with all the challenges I had with IT, so I do really appreciate the input, and I think the workshop was very, very successful in terms of finding out what we all agreed on and possibly what we didn't agree with. But it really was very effective, and I really appreciate the input that the committee members have made. We held that workshop on Monday, the 12th of April. I think there was an agreement, as much as that there was a need to consolidate the various rules that we have into one document. It would make it easier for officers, it would make it easier for councillors, and very importantly, it would make it easier for allotment holders so they could every year get a document, see what those rules are, and actually understand them and know that they don't have to go hunt all over the show to do that. I think, Chair, to quote you, I think you were quite surprised at the consensus on the number of matters. There was, before we could finalise the rules, there were some issues that there wasn't consensus on, and I've just put some of them down there: the vehicular access, the bonfires, withholding deposits, etc. And at the workshop, which I'm hoping that this committee will adopt, it was agreed that we would approach the associations and representatives bodies to actually get some input from them before we actually finalise the viewpoint or a rule regarding those particular matters. So we can't, I don't think we're in a position to approve revised allotment rules at this particular meeting, but hopefully we'll have everything ready. We'll do those consultations before the next meeting, possibly have another workshop individually with Munford Road, etc., because we're constricted, and it's certainly up until the 21st of June, we won't be able to have physical meetings. We could possibly do them through Zoom and then have those further consultations and then put together a document for approval at the next allotment committee meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be totally in agreement with that. What's the rest of the committee think?
I support that, yeah.
No problem.
I thought thought Chris was going to say no then for a minute. No. Okay, thank you. So we don't need to do anything further on that other than take it forward and set up a consultation with the allotment holders and representatives of the association.
Correct.
Correct.
So this would also be deferred to the next meeting.
Yes, thank you, Alan.
Okay.
Right, moving on.
Whoops. moving on. The next 3 items is correspondence, 9-7. Whoops, sorry. I'm taking over the chairmanship here, sorry.
That's all right, no. Yeah, I think it's 975/20. I'm still on the revised
Yes,
allotment.
you are.
Yes. Which is what?
Correspondence.
Could I ask the finance manager, deputy town clerk, do we need a ruling, a referral, a recommendation, or anything on the revised allotment rules, or just say it's going to be reviewed next meeting?
I think just that.
Yeah,
Because
just
we're not
that.
Yeah,
making
thank
decisions.
you. That's what I thought. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah. So 975/20 correspondence. Do we have any correspondence, Carl or Alan?
From our side, we have had some, but they could be deemed to be individual tenant issues, so we will discuss them below the line.
Thank
But
you very much.
there's nothing to be disclosed above the line.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just come in on that one, please?
Of course, Jen.
And I know I've received emails about the problems with maybe foxes on the Mumford Road, but as Carl said, it's been but it is under correspondence because I've had emails about it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've had correspondence about it also, but
No, Chris has as well.
yeah, so we'll move on that. Okay. Well, thank you. Moving on to 976/20 committee officers update.
I haven't anything else to add to the agenda.
Carl, cheers. So,
I don't either, Chair.
no, thank you very much. That's both of you. Okay, so here we go to the fun one. 977/20 exclusion of press and public. To consider resolving that pursuant to the Public Body Administration 2 Meetings Act 1960, the press and public be excluded for any remaining items of business on the grounds that publicity would be prejudicial to the public interest by reason of the confidential nature of the business to be discussed. Is everybody in agreement?
Agreed.
Yes, agreed.
All right, thank you very much.